What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Neato, but we're gonna throw it on the back. Okay, the truck is like a bit for you all, but yeah, I got my Carolina back, and it feels good to be back enjoying football. So not just all sports. I'm just glad to do that. Talk and fusion. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with today. It's happening today. Sugar, I do declare, bless your heart. But here's what's happening. Okay, we got the game. No more preseason for NFL. 1 of 18. Okay. So, say if you lose, say if you win, it's still more football to go. When you start getting in the trenches, it's probably, for me, my POV, it's going to be after the 5th games. 6 and 7, you know, I'm going to start really seeing what's happening. But tonight at 8:20, face it off is going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. What a matchup to start off the regular season. I love it. Okay, so you know, I got a lot of house divided. Not only just family, friends, romance, ex-romances, people you meet along the way. It's a really good house divided. So got a lot of people whom I really care about who are Cowboy fans. What's up, Cowboy Nation? And a lot of people who are Bucs fans. And of course, being from Tampa, Florida, I always just tell people my OG team is the Packers. The first franchise team, and of course, repping my city as a Tampa Floridian, has always been the Bucs. So people be trying to come at me. I be like, I've been on that train long before it's Orleans, the Super Bowl of the Tom Brady era. Okay, but yeah, that game goes down tonight at 8:20, and it is going to be on live. So a lot of people get your gear, get your tailgate, and all that good stuff. So who am I going for? Realistically, not just because it's in my city and that's my city team. I'm going for the Buccaneers. But I expect to see some good action happening with the Cowboys. So we'll see. All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and give my picks right now because I'm just that bad. So let me give my picks. Okay. Seahawks and the Colts. They will play on Sunday. With that one, I'm going with the Seahawks. Okay. And shout out to Uncle Luke, Aunt Clara, Seahawks fans. Okay. Jaguars and the Texans. I want to see just what Trevor is putting down. I'm going to give this as my wild card. Okay. QB leaving Clemson, coming into the NFL. I'm going with the Jaguars. Jaguars are already an electric team anyway that started getting their rhythm. And then, you know, if the leadership is not there, then, you know, because y'all know what happened. Those young bucks for the Jaguars, when Brady was with the Patriots, they was like, you coming out here, we're going to sun you, son. We're going to sun you. And they sunned them. Everybody was like, they're crazy. But they did, though. They rattled the cage. Okay, so now that they got a new leader, that's going to be a good matchup. I'm going with the Jaguars. Eagles and Falcons. This is always a good matchup. Got a lot of friends and cousins down there in the A. You know what it is. Dirty Birds. You know what it is. Okay. Then you got the Eagles. All right. There's my house divided. All right. So, I would have loved to be at this game, but the gigs and everything. So, you know, ooh, he's going to be doing double duty because he's going to be on the stage playing with JG and then his team playing. What's up, Ace? All right. So, for this one, realistically, with the weapons This is really a good matchup with both. And I'm not doing this because this is a house divided, you know, with the Bassist and Bebe. I'm not doing it because of that. I'm doing it because, as a sportcaster, even the romantic feelings about it, that I would say, I'd say the Eagles. But there's a strong edge there that those Falcons could be like a wahoo. All right, Chargers and Washington. Washington still has not come up with the name yet. I feel so sorry for y'all. But, you know, me, Native American, I just sometimes just say, hey, I be like Washington Redskins. But with this one, I'm going to go with the Chargers. Steelers and Bills. All right, the Bills like redemption time. Y'all checked us last year. We were rattling and made people nervous. Steelers. Ooh. And, you know, shout out to my family, the Hookses. Like I said, that's the only family that I know that did not defect. When them babies be in the womb, they be like, Steelers, get that jersey, get them onesies ready. Nobody defected. And that's like 6 generations, about 6 generations strong now. That's impressive. That's a beautiful thing to see. Ooh, but this one, I might have to do the Bills. See what my picks will be, if I would be obliterated or not. 49ers and Lions. For this one, I'm gonna do another wild card. I'm going with the Lions. Vikings and Bengals. For this one, I'm going with the Bengals. And not because my Packers can't stand the Vikings. We're gonna see. I think the edge is the Vikings, but we're gonna see. Won't give that to the Bengals. That's my pick. I'm gonna do a lot of wild cards here. Jets and Panthers. This is really going to be interesting. But you know what? That's the other home team too, because the family in South Carolina, you know, a lot of them, they already had their OG teams. But when this franchise came in, they was like, okay, well, if it's not playing my team, we'll support them, you know. So for that, I think I'm going to go with the Jets, though. I'm just going to wild card it. Cardinals and Titans. Well, this one I'm going with the Titans. Browns and Chiefs. I'm a wild card it again. That edge is with the Chiefs. But I'm going to go wild card. Browns. I'm just going to wild card it. Patriots and Dolphins. All right, here's a good matchup because you got Mac Jones right there. And then you got, check it out. See what's what. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? See, we're right here at a spot and everything. And my bodyguard is supposed to be paying attention. But everything's cool. I just love the row of Palmetto. So it's a nice little drive up for a lot of people to do pictures and stuff like that. So you got to make sure the person's paying attention. And we're live stream casual. So this is how we're going to do it anyway. So this is like gonzo. Until we get to the studio. So it'll be gonzo unless I'm in the booth professionally and stuff like that. But it'll still be professional. All right. So the Dolphins and the Patriots. Mac Jones debut after they let Cam go. Then you got Tua and the Dolphins. For this one, I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Okay, that's what we're going to do right there. And just see what happens. But it's going to be all eyes on Mac Jones to see what that is all about. All right, Broncos and the Giants. Ooh, I know the Giants have suffered a lot, but, you know, it is what it is. With this one, though, I'm still going to go wild card. I think the edge goes to the Broncos. We're going to see what happens with the Giants. All right, Packers and the Saints. This is a good game. I love my Packers. I think the slight tip-off edge a little bit is going to be with the Saints. But we'll see how the Packers can cohesively come together, especially with our quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, who, even with the 2-year contract and even with bringing back in Cobb with electric players, and you still got Jordan Love situation and that whole drama fest, we got to see how they play together. Because it's not only a physical matchup, but it also has to be mental. Is our quarterback mentally going to be there in the game and in the season? We shall see. But go Pack, go. I'm going with the Packers, but I do see that edge going to the Saints, but we shall see. All right. Rams and Bears. Well, this one I'm going, good matchup though. I'm going with the Bears on this, even though same division, but I'm going with the Bears on that. I like what I saw with the Bears. all last season. And this is what separates you from being a fan and a sportcaster, sport professional, sport analyst. It's just that you give the truth how you find it in your POVs, and you just go from there. All right, the Ravens and the Raiders. Good matchup. I'm going to roll with the Raiders on this, but I do like how both teams are very energetic and their defense and their offense, so I like that. All right, so that's week 1 for NFL. So we're going to slide on over here to college. Okay, so here we go. We've had a lot of stuff that's been happening in the news with college football, and I love it. I think college football is so energetic, exciting, electric. So here's what's happening on week 2 for college. Kansas and Coastal, that's tomorrow at 7:30. I'm going to roll with Kansas. North Dakota and Utah, I'm going with Utah. Illinois and Virginia, I'm going to rock with Illinois. Western Kentucky and Army, I'm going with Army. Alabama State and Auburn, woo! Now this is going to be a good one. But you know what? I like what Auburn is doing, so I'm going to roll with Auburn. Carolina, got my Gamecocks, okay? I'm just a bouncy. And got the flag going. Y'all know what it is. Carolina Gamecocks, cock-a-doodle, baby, with the East Carolina Gamecocks, baby. Gamecocks, okay? Kennesaw State and Georgia Tech. I'm going to roll with Georgia Tech. Tulsa and Oklahoma State. I'm going with Oklahoma State. Indiana State and Northwestern. I'm going with Northwestern on that one. Morgan State and Tulane. I'm going to roll with Tulane on that. Okay. Duckins. And Ohio. I'm going with Ohio on that. Middle Tennessee and Virginia Tech. I'm going with Virginia Tech. Robert Morris and Central Michigan. I'm going with Central Michigan. Texas A&M and Colorado, I'm going with Colorado. UAB and Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to go with Georgia Bulldogs. Okay. Murray State and Cincinnati, I'm going with Murray State. Temple and Akron, I'm going to go with Temple. Ball State and Penn State, that's a good one. I'm going with Penn State. Mercer and Alabama. I'm going to do a wild card. Alabama for it, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Mercer. Wouldn't that be a shock? Iowa and Iowa State. I'm going with Iowa. South Carolina State and Clemson. I'm giving big love to South Carolina State. Put them points on the board. Clemson just came off that L with Georgia, so they're definitely going to need that win. So this is always a good matchup. This starts at 5 p.m. I do not hope for any blowout, but we know analytically it's going to be Clemson. But wouldn't that be a shockaroo if it's the Bulldogs? I ain't playing with y'all. I believe in the unexpected. Lamar and UTSA. I'm going with UTSA. Gardner-Webb and the Charlotte 49ers. I am a 49er as a Smithite, so you know what it is. 49ers look good. Going up against Gardner-Webb. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Let's see what they do. And Marshall, we're going with North Carolina Central. Southeast Louisiana and Louisiana Tech, I'm going with Louisiana Tech. North Texas and SMU, I'm going with SMU. Nicholls State and Louisiana, I'm going with Louisiana. Texas Southern and Baylor, I'm going with Texas Southern. Southern Illinois and Kansas State, going with Kansas State. Appalachian State and University of Miami, I'm going with University of Miami. New Mexico State and New Mexico, I'm going to go with New Mexico. Hampton and Old Dominion, I'm going with Old Dominion. Liberty and Troy, I'm going with Liberty. Austin, PA and Mississippi, going with Mississippi. Georgia State and UNC. I think I'm going to go with Georgia State. But UNC definitely needs to get up on the boards. Idaho and Indiana, going with Idaho. And McNeese State at LSU, going with LSU. Vanderbilt and Colorado State, going with Vanderbilt. Stanford and USC, California, I'm going with USC. UNLV and Arizona State, going with Arizona State. Hawaii and Oregon State, I'm going with Oregon State. And then you got Idaho State and Nevada, going with Idaho State. Utah and BYU, going with Utah. San Diego State with Arizona, I'm going with, I don't I'm going with Arizona. Washington and Michigan, going with Michigan. Michigan, what's up? The Big M. JSU and Florida State. I'm going with Florida State. Let's see what happens. Missouri and Kentucky. Going with Kentucky. Let's see what's going on. Howard and Maryland. Definitely going to go with Maryland. Texas State and FIU. Going with Texas State. Eastern Kentucky and Louisville. Going with Louisville. WCU and Oklahoma. Going with Oklahoma. North Carolina State and Mississippi State. Whew, that's going to be good. I'm going with North Carolina State. I'm rolling with North Carolina State. I think Mississippi State got a little edge, but we'll see. Grambling State and Southern Miss. I'm going to go with Grambling State. Wisconsin and Eastern Michigan. Wisconsin, Texas Tech, and SFA. Going with Texas Tech. Memphis and Arkansas State. Let's go with Arkansas State. UCF and BCU. Okay, Bethune-Cookman. Let's go with Bethune-Cookman. Let's rattle some little wild cards. Portland State, Washington State. See, all this is good football. We're going to go with Washington State. LIU and West Virginia, going with West Virginia. Illinois State, Western Michigan, going with Illinois State. South Alabama and Bowling Green, going with Bowling Green. And then you have Air Force and Navy. That's a hard one right there. But I'm going to go with Navy. California and TCU, going with California. Georgia Southern and Florida Atlantic, going with Georgia Southern. Boston College and UMass, going with UMass. Nebraska and Buffalo, going with Nebraska. Notre Dame and Toledo, going with Notre Dame. Rutgers and Syracuse, woo, another good one. I think I'm going to go with Rutgers. And then Wyoming and Northern Illinois, going with Wyoming. Florida and South Florida, going with Wildcard, South Florida. Ohio State, Oregon, Ohio State, Youngstown State, Michigan State, Youngstown, Minnesota, and Miami, Ohio, Minnesota. Tennessee and Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Tennessee, Wake Forest, and Norfolk State. Go with Wake Forest. That'd be nice to see Norfolk State get that. Kent State and VMI. Kent State, Boise State, UTEP. I'm just going to say it like that. Tied all these little... I'm going to go with Boise State, and then Duke and North Carolina A&T. What's up, Aggies? Now, that is going to be a good game right there. What are you going to do, though, girl? I definitely can see the Aggies winning this. They ranked third to finish, so we just have to see. All right, so moving on from that. Did a lot of wild cards. I just felt real wild cardy. You know what I'm saying? This time around, so that's just what it is. All right, so now getting more into the HBCU, we have the Liberty Memorial Bowl that's happening in Memphis, and that's going to be between Tennessee State. What's up, my cousin Cedric? I wonder if Cedric's going to be there. Okay, play for the Cardinals and Miami Dolphins, first cousins, you know what it is, and every time it's always just a laugh. Okay, when we see each other, when we just talking. So I think I'm gonna catch him on the text, and I'm be like, "What's up? Are you?" said in Tennessee. So that's gonna be good. That's gonna be two NFL Hall of Famers are gonna meet up in Memphis, and we're talking about Hall of Famers as far as head coaches. Of course, you got Coach Deion Sanders, okay, and then you got Coach Eddie George. All right, so Tennessee is going to be looking for the first win. Jackson had their first win over FAMU. So we're just going to see what happens. The quarterback starting is going to be all eyes on Shedeur Sanders for JSU, and wide receiver Josh Lanier for JSU, linebacker R.B. Miller for JSU, and running back Devin Starling for Tennessee State, and wide receiver Davon Johnson, TSU. So we saw where Jackson State and FAMU, they could not get in the double digits, which I said was a round of applause for both teams because of the more defense than the offense. A little bit more work on the offense, but you know it is what it is. So that's a game to check out. That's going to be on ESPN 3 at 7 p.m. Miles and Southern. This is going to be another good game that's going to be happening. So you're going to have that game going on. And the players to watch is going to be defensive end Jordan Lewis for SU and QB Ladarius Skelton for SU. All right. Prairie View A&M versus UIW. That's going to be at 8 p.m. And this game is going to be another one to take a look at. So there it is. A lot of eyes, again, are going to be on the Aggies because, you know, they left the MEAC, okay, went over to the Big Ten. So that's going to be a game to look at right there. So that's going to be pretty good. Then you got Fort Valley State facing off with Florida A&M. North Carolina Central facing off with Marshall. Georgetown facing off with Delaware State. Morgan State at Tulane. Norfolk State at Wake Forest. Alabama State at Auburn. Bethune-Cookman at UCF. Texas Southern at Baylor. Hampton at ODU. Grambling State at Southern Miss. Tennessee State and Jackson State. Miles at Southern. Howard at Maryland. Prairie View, A&M, and UIW. So it's just going to be on the road, and you're just going to see what happens with everybody. So let's move it on. Okay, let's talk about the conference here, as we got a beautiful sunset happening over there. MEAC football. All right, so here's how the schedule is going to line up. It's going to be Norfolk State and Wake Forest. It's going to be Georgetown and Delaware State, North Carolina Central and Marshall, South Carolina State and Clemson, Howard and Maryland, Morgan State and Tulane. Okay. Just looking over some notes here. And we're live, Gonzo style. And then we have, looking over here at some SEAHAWKS news. It's just kind of like when you go through there, everybody's calendar, everybody has a different switch up there. So let's see what their stuff is going to be. I like to go to their own websites here. So, just going to have to hit on everything because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The SEAHAWKS. SEAHAWKS is a little different. I really wish their calendars would be a little bit more easier to read. So maybe I'll go in a different way. Let me try and go in a different way with them. SEAHAWKS, I'm going to have to come back to y'all. Okay, I'm going to move on from the SEAHAWKS. Because the SEAHAWKS should be a little bit more easier to read. I hate that. I love y'all, but I hate that. Y'all need to have y'all website a little bit more easier to read. Let me try and go back. Let me go another way with y'all. I'm going to get off y'all's website. And I'm going to try and go in a different way. I need to make it easy for people who want to get to it. Jump on you all or jump off. Okay, yeah, let me just go through ESPN. I was trying to jump on y'all and I thought I had it. But I didn't, so. But I know that the SEAHAWKS has a really good game coming up, and that's going to be with Benedict. So right now, I'm on a freeze frame. So I'm just going to have to come back and show y'all love later, because everybody else is so smooth to get into their stuff. Like, they just have it right there. And come on, SEAHAWKS. I mean, we lined it up perfectly, but y'all really gave us a hard way to go. Goodness. When you're going for their teams, when you go in for their teams, it's just like you're not getting anything. Let me try it again. Let's go over here. Let's try this way. Alright. If I give you all the standings, I have to kind of go in their teams, into their website, and just kind of see why their stuff won't jump up like everybody else. They are giving me through the maze. But at any rate, their standings right now: Edward Waters is 1-0, Allen is 0-1, Albany State is 1-0, Clark Atlanta is 1-0, Benedict is 1-0, Fort Valley is 1-0, Morehouse 0-1, Savannah State 0-1, Kentucky State 1-0, Tuskegee 0-1, Lane 0-1, Miles 0-1, and Central State 0-1. I was trying to give you all the upcoming games, but how they have it lined up on their football schedule, they're showing the teams, but you want to kind of go in and get a lot more from them. And every time I do, they're not giving me to go in like everybody else. And I love to give the babies their love, but for some reason, we just have to come back to this SEAHAWK. Sorry about that, y'all. Alright, so the SEAHAWKS has given theirs more easier to read. They face off Alabama State and Auburn, and Bethune-Cookman and UCF, Grambling State and Southern Miss, Tennessee State and Jackson, Texas Southern and Baylor, Fort Valley State and Florida A&M. The CIAA, easy to read. Once again, when you go for what you're trying to get to, they give it to you right then and there. You have St. Augustine University faces off with Limestone and Gaffney. Then you have Chowan State facing off with Tusculum in Greenville, Tennessee. You have Virginia State facing off with Ohio Dominican University. You have Saginaw Valley State University facing off with Bowie State. These are all September 11th games. You have Lincoln and Lincoln, PA. You got Lincoln University facing off with Central State University. In Elizabeth City, North Carolina, you got Bluefield State College facing off with Elizabeth City State University. And you got Valdosta State University facing off with Virginia Union. In Davidson, North Carolina, got Shaw facing off with Davidson College. Savannah, Georgia, you got Livingstone College facing off with Savannah State University. And then you got my Smith Ice, the Golden Bulls, in Charlotte facing off with Allen University, which is my parents' alma mater. You got at Wingate, Fayetteville State face off with Wingate. And you got Winston State University. There you go, Stephen A. Smith facing off with Catawba College. Now, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's September 11th. Okay, so they got more games going. All right, so let me go ahead and see if I can run out these picks here. Who I'm picking. Let's go back. See if I can turn up some music too. So thank you so much for being here as we go into sunset. All right, so September the 11th. For Chowan and Tusculum, I'm going to go with Chowan. Let's see what happens there. And then I'm going to go with Virginia State University. And I'm going to go with Bowie State. go with Elizabeth City State. I'm going to go with Virginia Union. I'm going to go with Shaw. I'm going to go with Livingston College. We'll see what happens. Might be a little edge there with Savannah State. With Allen and John C. Smith, I'm going to go, of course, with the Golden Bulls, but we'll see what happens. And then you have Fayetteville and Wingate. Wingate does have the edge, but we'll see what Fayetteville State does. And Winston-Salem and Catawba, let's go with those Rams. So that's going to be a good time for CIAA football. And then we're going to go over here to South Carolina State Athletics. And let's see what's happening there. Can't wait to get back in the booth and be with the fam. So here we go. We're going to have the games that are going to come home for football for the Bulldogs. That's going to be in October. So everything else will be like away games. They're going to be facing off with Clemson on tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then from there, we're going to go into their football. They got some volleyball games that's going to be happening also at South Carolina State. So after that, they'll be on the road again, and they'll be going to New Mexico State University. That's going to be in New Mexico. That's going to be on September 18th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay, so that's going to be the next game that's coming up there, and we just have to see how that goes. All right, so then I wanted to get into, lastly, the stats with South Carolina State and with Alabama last week. First downs, South Carolina State had 14 with ASU 17. Third down efficiencies 414 for State, 416 for Alabama. Total yards 222 for State Bulldogs, and for Alabama Hornets it's going to be 288. So not a big blowout or difference there. Then in passing, this is where Alabama shined at 191 versus South Carolina State's 91. And in rushing, South Carolina State dominated more, 131 to 97 of Alabama. And then in penalties, you have 9 of 121 for State and 7 of 83 for Alabama. Turnovers, 2 for the Bulldogs, 3 for the Hornets. 1 fumble from Alabama, so that was good defense going on there from the Bulldogs. And then interceptions thrown was 2 for 2, so they were evenly matched. Time possession of the ball, 33-43 for Bulldogs, 33 minutes, 43 seconds, 26 minutes and 17 seconds for South Carolina State. For Alabama. So I would say good football. The score was 14-7. But wait a minute, this is all wrong. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay. No. Let me get out of this. I'm so sorry, y'all. All of this stuff coming up. But because I watched that game, I knew what happened. I'm so sorry. I went through a whole spiel, y'all. Isn't that crazy? I don't know who's putting up these websites and putting up this information, but they need to move some of this old information. That is crazy. But that's not what happened last week. Y'all need to take down the old stuff, people. Y'all need to take down the old stuff. Because that is not what happened. And why, when I asked for the stats, it gave me some other stats. That's not what happened. All right. And thank goodness I saw the game and know that, okay. People, whoever's running your websites, take down these old matchups, take down the old scores, especially for newbies. All right. South Carolina State did not win that game last week, and it was 41-42. I was trying to get the in-depth stats, and so here we go with the right game. My goodness. Weird. Very weird. Okay. Corey Fields had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Alabama A&M, Akil Glass, 4 touchdowns, 426 yards. South Carolina State, Corey Fields had 213 yards. For rushing for the Bulldogs, Corey Fields, Kendrell Flowers, Alex James, Tyrese Nick. Corey Fields had 1 touchdown, 89 yards. Kendrell Flowers had 3 touchdowns, 80 yards. Alex James, 73 yards. Tyrese Nick, 0 yards. And receiving, Shaquan Davis, 140 yards for South Carolina State. Will Vereen, 28 yards. Shaquan Davis did do the touchdown. Richard Bailey, 22 yards. Kendrell Flowers, 15 yards. Alex James, 8. Still don't have those full stats, but I'll get them at some point to run it down for the next game. I'm just going to move on from this game. But South Carolina State Athletics, try to make sure y'all get the stats there for the games that just happened. For rushing for Alabama, Gary Qualls, he had 1 touchdown, 129 yards. Akil Glass, 1 touchdown, -2 yards. Brian Jenkins Jr., 1 yard. Harold Jemison Jr., 21 yards. And receiving, Brian Jenkins Jr., 116 yards, 1 touchdown. Odu Hilaire had 70 yards and 1 touchdown. Kendrick Johnson, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. And so Brian Moore had 46 yards. D. Anderson, 37 yards and 1 touchdown. Gary Qualls had 20 yards. All right, so, and I still don't have, so I'm just going to bounce up out of there. I do not have the full stats for that. I'm going to try one more time for Love to see what we can get here for SEAHAWKS. But I'm not going to go back on their website because they just won't give up anything. All right, so we're on ESPN now. And so what we have here, let's see if we can turn on some light because it's getting dark. All right. Week 2 is going to be Edward Waters at Benedict on tomorrow, September 9th. For September 18th, it's going to be Lane at Fort Valley State. And then week 4 is going to be Clark Atlanta at Albany State, Morehouse at Savannah State, Central State at Miles. And then on October 2nd, week 5, it's going to be Albany State at Miles, Clark Atlanta at Tuskegee. Booyah. So we're going to see if Benedict can pull out a second win. Go SEAHAWKS. And then the last thing that I'm going to do here is the stats for Jackson State and FAMU. FAMU is 0-1. Jackson State is 1-0. They're trying to go for 2-0. Face off for Tennessee. We'll see how that happens. But here's what's going on. Game leaders. Passing yards is going to be Shaduri Sanders. 18 of 24, 221 yards. Versus FAMU, number 17, R. McKay, 18 of 29, 78 yards. Rushing yards, Pickett for Jackson State, 15 carries, 62 yards. Bonnet, 15 carries, 76 yards. And receiving yards for Jackson, Rucker, 3 receiving, 83 yards. 7 in receiving for Hunter for FAMU, 49 yards. In the first quarter, You have Jose Romo Martinez had a 21-yard field goal. That was 10 plays, 23 yards, and 4:55, which would give FAMU the lead 0-3. And that's the first quarter. Second quarter, you had a touchdown by Shedeur Sanders, 1-yard run to Glenn Mosaic for the kick, 10 plays, 69 yards. The score would change 7-3. Then FAMU with a field goal, it would be Martinez 39-yard field goal, 7 plays, 28 yards, and the final score would be 7-6. Now, when you look at turnovers, Jackson State had 3 turnovers, so that was some good defense there by FAMU. FAMU had 2. Time possession of the ball, 27-42 for Jackson State, 32-18 for FAMU. First downs, 15 for Jackson State, 17 for FAMU. Total yards, Jackson State, 292, FAMU, 234. Again, this was a single-digit game, and looking over at everything, it was just a lot of missed opportunities, especially when FAMU got the ball back. The coach did the right thing as far as saying, let's do a timeout and settle the team down, because when you're doing false starts and stuff like that, and you got like minutes left in the last quarter, this is not the time to do any crucial mistakes. And then not getting the first down to get in field goal position, because if they did get in field goal position, we'd be talking about a different type of game, possibly because the kicker stats is just that much better. And overall, unless the wind blew a different way, then it would have been a different story. But it's not, so congratulations to Jackson State. Now, the celebrating on the field after making the play, that is a rookie mistake still by freshmen and maybe some sophomores. And anybody else is just something that you got to condition your team out of, because you will get penalties. Luckily for Jackson State, it wasn't a penalty with the minutes and everything that would have put them in a different position. But have we seen the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty because of celebration on the field? Of course, and you're going to always see that because of the excitement of winning the game. But at some point, you will have to settle your team down to make sure that you don't have those penalties to shoot you in the foot. We'll be having a lot more talk of the scores and matchups and stuff like that on tomorrow. But thank you so much for being here with me as the beautiful sun sets. I really appreciate the love, everyone. And what I'm going to do is flip this around, and I'm going to be out of here. But thanks, everyone, for locking in. I want to flip this around and let you look at some of the sunset. Thanks so much for locking in. I'm BB Davis with BB Loves Sports, where sports and gaming is exquisite fusion. And we always try to support the babies. And one love also to John C. Smith University for their convocations, and also for the freshmen being pinned. And for every student, enjoy your year and succeed academically. All right, so let's take a look here at the sunset, everybody. All right, so here we go. And we have what you call a beautiful sunset with the palmettos. So this is absolutely a beautiful vision right here, and I just love it because it just speaks volumes of a beautiful state. It speaks volumes of a beautiful creator, and just always love the sunsets and the sunrises. You can get positive vibrations out of it, and get more yin than not. So here's wishing everyone that you get a good look at that. It's just absolutely beautiful. Here's wishing everyone a great sports weekend, whatever weekend else that you're having besides sports. Enjoy yourself, and more to come. I'm BB Davis, and thanks for locking in, everybody. Peace and love.